Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Here we go, yo. What's the scenario? This is Story Route Zero. My name is Matthew Keel. That was A Tribe Called Quest and one of their signature hits scenario off of Low End Theory. You should listen to that album because it's really fucking good. Speaking of really fucking good, I have three really cool people with me. Michaela Crishone, how are you?
Having a better than average Monday.
Despite being obliterated with puns right before we started?
Okay,
wow.
I was having a better than average Monday, and now it's coming back towards average since you got on the call.
Jesus. That's what I do. I just bring it to average.
You asked for it.
I did. Jason, how you doing, sir?
Average.
Moose?
I'm good.
Cool. I'm all right. A little delirious, but nobody asked. This is Story Out Zero. We talk about the video games. Who's been playing stuff?
Michaela accomplished a rare feat.
I did. I think it
Why
was
is it
a
rare?
first for me. I pulled a hat trick. I beat 3 games in 1 week, I think, for the first time.
Wow.
Really? Very nice.
Do tell.
Oh, you guys know one of them because I beat Curse of the Dead Gods last Monday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle of last week, Wednesday, I think, I beat Eldest Souls, which I had started the week prior. It's not a particularly long game. None of these games, I mean, the 2 that I beat after the Curse of the Dead Gods are both fairly short. So, but yes, I beat Eldest Souls, and I enjoyed Eldest Souls. It's definitely one of the more unique takes. Like, I don't think I've ever played a Souls like that is just a boss rush before. So I really appreciated the fresh take on it. Also, who likes trash mobs anyways? The pixel art is gorgeous. The music is gorgeous. The Eos boss, the one that's the floating fire and water
Best
spheres,
music in game.
can eat my fucking farts. I don't care if it has the best music in the game.
Yeah.
That one annoyed me a lot. But a lot of the fights were fun, and they were like figure outable. Like, nothing felt unfair, I guess I should say. And I liked switching between the different styles, but I didn't use the berserker one as much, the red tree. So the way Eldest Souls works, people who don't know, you essentially have like 3 skill trees you can choose from, and you can swap between them at any given time, and they change your combat style. So there's a counter defensive damage sort of focus style. There's like a berserker, just like all out attack focus style. And then there's like a wind / dodge agility type style. And I started with the wind evasive sort of style. Then I kind of started to really like the counter style for certain bosses. It depended on what their moveset was and how much of it was feasibly counterable. And then I switched back to the wind style for the end game again, just because like you could stack some serious damage with those like little leaf thingies that fly around when you use the dodge and whatnot, and they can feed into your healing and all these other things, because this is one of the only games that's kind of taken the Bloodborne-esque mechanic where you regain health by dealing damage. So it encourages that very aggressive tact that Bloodborne sort of cultivated in the Soulsborne genre. but this takes it to the extreme because there is no other way to heal in this game besides going on the offensive. There's no like vials or Estus or any equivalent of that sort of nature. So the balance was really cool. The bosses were really cool. Neat little game.
How'd you
Very
fare
fun.
with the moving platform boss?
Moving platform boss. Is that, which one are you talking about? The one,
That's before the boss with the, where you have to enter the room with the hands. That
are
are
you,
just,
yeah, you talk, okay, you're talking about like the black oozy guy who clones himself and like does a lot of AoE shit.
yeah, right before that, where you have to kind of hit the trigger and get the platform to move, and if you miss, you die instantly, and
Yeah, and the hand comes up and
yeah, that can fuck off.
yeah, that section can fuck off more than the bosses around it can fuck off.
Yeah, she was kind of quick with her dash, and oh, let me dash through this. Whoa, right off the side.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that
No.
was my last challenge for the no death run. And I like didn't die at all on the bosses. I get to that room right off the edge. It's like, really? This is what's gonna kill me?
Yeah. I
Not
can
not
see
a
that.
giant boss throwing everything but the sun at me. No, just walking off an edge.
Yeah, there was two annoying parts to the traversal in the game. That one is the most annoying, that platformy section. The other one is the place with all the like lasers, like the long bridge
Oh,
area.
yeah. And you have to bust through the crates.
Yes. And you can get stuck
Yeah.
and get fucked and stun locked and dead real easy. But yeah, neat little game. Highly recommend to Souls fans. And then the other game I beat about a half hour ago was Metroid Dread.
Cool.
Another challenging game that I did not plan on beating this week. But what happened was, so Astria Ascending came out physically last Tuesday, November 2nd. And I went to the GameStop where I had pre-ordered my physical copy. And they were like, oh, that's weird. We don't have it in stock. Maybe it's in one of the boxes we haven't unpacked yet. Come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. They're like, oh, that's really weird. I don't know why we don't have it. You pre-ordered it. You paid for it. It's not here. That's weird. I'm like, huh.
I told
That's
Michaela,
weird.
I don't think you understand the reservation. No, we do. No, I don't think you do.
Oh, you know how to take the reservation, but you don't know how to hold the reservation. And that's the most important part of the reservation.
GameStop. So
I just want to do a quick shout out to Michaela's little GameStop shuffle that she did. I really like that.
I live to entertain. But yeah,
that's
so
the
they ended
episode
up
title,
shipping
the
me a
GameStop
copy.
Shuffle.
The GameStop
Thank
Shuffle,
you.
exactly. There we go. Look at that, easy peasy. Then so the copy they shipped me. Free shipping. They sent it to me, free express shipping, and it came today finally. So since I had planned on playing that game last week and I didn't have it, I ended up taking Metroid out the backlog, which I mean it came out a month ago today, I think, so not really deep in the backlog. But I was like, hey, I can beat this. Let's try it. And I dove into Metroid. The first hour was rough. I felt for the first time in a long time, well and truly hopeless. Felt very hopeless. I was like, this game's gonna beat me. I don't know if I can beat this game. I have played many Metroidvania games in my life. I've played several for this show. But I'd never played an actual Metroid game before, so this was a first. And the control scheme was weird and you can't change it. So that definitely took some getting used to. So like the one thing
Nintendo fans out here like first time.
Yeah. One of the first things that threw me was, all right, in a shooter, first or third person, what button do you use to aim on the controller?
Generally the L trigger.
Correct. It's the L bumper. in this. The L trigger is your slide, your dash, your dodge. That's not where that usually goes.
No.
So
I'm gonna
there's
be
some-
sliding around like a fool when I play that game.
Yeah.
But
So-
in the defense of Metroid, I feel like in that game you were sliding more than you are aiming, especially when you're running from the Emmys, I guess you would call them.
Oh yeah, the Emmys are a different story. The Emmys play
Whoa.
completely different. I'm just
Wait, you're
talking
running
like,
from television awards?
I'm talking
Yes.
like when you're in
Yes.
like boss fights and shit, like actual things you're fighting.
Yeah, so yes, now that can be a pain in the ass. Yes.
So it just
Yes,
took
I
some
agree
getting
with you.
used to. So like I said, the first hour
Mhm.
was rough. And I kept
Mhm.
feeling like, so Metroidvanias, there's a bunch of stuff where it's like, oh, I can't do this yet. I'll come back to it later. That's like the name of the game. I kept
Mhm.
feeling like I didn't know where to go. And I would go through a place and then I wouldn't be able to go back. I'd lock myself in and I'd be like, oh,
Yes.
this was a I can't fix this. I can't go back.
Mhm.
I have to keep going forward until I can loop back around to this shit. I've locked myself out. And there was a couple of times where I was like, did I just lock myself out of progression? Have I well and truly fucked myself into a hole here? But then of course, in true Metroid style, you do progress. You just got to find the secrets in your environment. You have to like shoot and bomb and poke and prod everything, and you will get through it. And then once I'd hit the 2-hour mark, and at this point I'd started to get some abilities like the wide beam and the morph ball that everybody knows from Metroid. And I started being able to get through my environments more easily. I started to really enjoy the game, and I did not want to put it down this weekend. The Emmys were annoying at times because they are essentially unkillable enemies except for when you're supposed to kill them in the story beats. They chase you and they stalk you, and they add some good tension to the game, but then something about their AI just bothered me because they goaltend like a motherfucker. So the Emmys are these robots that are super hard to kill. So you have to get like a super charged up beam for your gun, and you can only use it once. And once you kill that Emmy, you need to charge it again before you can kill the next. And there's 7 of them. And they are programmed to stay in a certain zone, and the zone is marked on your map, and there's specific doors that thank God have a checkpoint system when you go in and out of them. So they create a soft like autosave. But so they won't go outside of those zones, and you know where the zone is. But when you go in there and you need to get to a specific objective, I would have times where they would just like camp. They would just like camp right there. And you do get an invisibility shield. And so I would be invisible and huddled and watching my like stamina bar for my energy shield drain away. And it would just walk back and forth right or like up in front of me and not leave. And I was like, leave. There's an entire zone of this map you're supposed to be patrolling. Go somewhere else. Or I can't even count the number of times I would walk into the door and it would be right there. And I'd be like, fuck me. And I can't do anything about it. And if they catch you, you have 1 QTE to get out of it. And the timing changes. It's not just like, all right, I can practice this QTE and get out of it and save myself. No, it's like, it'll be like grab, strike. Or it'll be grab, strike, or it'll be grab, pause, strike. And if you miss, you're dead. And you're starting over.
I like how the game says you have 1 opportunity to dodge the attack, but it's unlikely, so you'll probably die. Like
that's literally what the help screen says. It's like, thanks. Great.
Welcome to Fuckville, population U.
Pretty much. Also, let's get the negatives out of the way. So the Emmys could be annoying sometimes, but they also added a cool element that I'd never encountered in any other sort of Metroidvania game. So props for originality and changing up the formula. The first hour was a huge learning curve, partially just because of the control scheme of the button mapping. The pacing would feel weird sometimes at the end with the changes between different sections. And the map, there's like 7 different zones that you unlock, and they get progressively smaller and smaller and smaller. Like the first couple, like 2 to 3 zones are huge and explorable, and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller. So it almost felt like more dev time was put into the first half of the map versus the second half, or maybe that's by design because that second half is just like, you know what, this is just going to be for like 1 or 2 boss fights here, and it's not going to be a super explorable area by design. So I don't really know, but it did feel weird because of that, like the pacing. It felt like the game was a little front loaded at times. That's all the negative stuff. Positives. This game was fun as fuck. It was challenging and it was beautiful. I tweeted about this a couple days ago. This is the best looking game on Switch, at least that I have ever seen and I have ever played. I loaded up the game and got into the initial cutscene. They do like a nice recap of like, all right, let's catch you up from Metroid.
Previously on Metroid.
Previously on, if you have no idea what the fuck is happening, here you go. And they actually do a pretty coherent job of recapping the story. Like, I didn't feel lost. And then like the cutscene ends, I was like, that was really good looking. I wonder what the actual gameplay is going to look like. And then the camera pans back from like, so like you were close up on Samus and then Samus, I don't know. And then it pans back.
Samus is fine.
Samus, and then it pans back and it's like, no, bitch, this is what the whole game looks like. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I see what you're doing. Holy fuck, this is amazing. I can't, like, I had it up on my 4K TV, which can be a little harsh on some Switch games. This thing looked incredible the entire time. No stuttering, no pixely shit, no blurry shit, no frame drops, no pop in. This game looked fucking phenomenal, start to finish. Fucking gorgeous. And when you start getting abilities, traversal obviously feels amazing. And towards the end of the game, I was just like, I own all of this. You're all going to die. Get out of my way. I am a badass. So it's a rewarding experience. It can be frustrating in small pockets, but overall a very solid game.
Nice.
It is a fun game.
My end screen said if my run was 10 hours, almost exactly 10 hours. I think it took me longer than that. I don't think it counted all the time I spent being dead.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Moose, Jason?
Moose can go.
All right, so we did the Game Club game last week, and I didn't talk about it because I didn't finish it, but I played a bunch of Fist, which is awesome. Thoroughly enjoying that. Do want to get back to it. So,
where are you at? How far did you get into this?
I just got out of the prison. So not like terribly far, but like I was trying to do like 100% of the area before I left. So trying to do as much as I could. So I only had to come back for like the things that you obviously can't get because it's a Metroidvania and you need something to get into a certain area. So I'm liking the boss fights. Boss fights are fun. They're engaging. I see what Jason means where it's like, you get an ability, like it should just work. Like I can see that, but I do like switching from like weapon to weapon, like on the fly. Like that's pretty cool. Because you could change from like the drill to the fist and just depending on what kind of I almost feel like it's kind of like switching your stances in Neo. You know what I mean? Because like certain weapons, you're like, oh, I can hit this better if I use the drill than if I use the fist. So I'll do that. And so yeah, and it is beautiful. Oh my God, it is a beautiful game. The characters are endearing and wholesome. I like them. So I look forward to playing more of it and just I haven't unlocked like everything in each tree, but like my only complaint about the game is you can't see like what does what as far as your combos go unless you're at the machine looking at your upgrades. There's no like move, as far as I could tell, there's no move set like menu for you to like look at and be like, now I just picked up this power, like what does it do? Or what was it? So like I find myself sticking to like the ones that I can remember, or I don't know. I just wish they would give you a menu to be like, here's your move sets, you know what I mean? And just like flash like a little new, like next to the ones that you just bought or whatever. I don't know. But other than that, I don't really have any other complaints. Maybe
Speaking
the
of puns,
healing.
Matt, by the way, the characters that Moose is describing, as you know, this game consists of animals. They're called furtisans instead of citizens.
Yes, I like it. It's
That
funny.
makes me happy.
I guess maybe the healing being on like a completely like random button, and you're just like, okay, like that's you like you had to deal with like using the left bumper to aim in Metroid. You just get used to it after a while. So, but other than that, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's a blast. Look forward to finishing it. I have been co-oping Demon Souls like hardcore. Like I think last week I played it like almost every night with my buddy Razzie because we're trying to like get through we're trying to get through our playthroughs to get the platinum, and he has to go into New Game +3 and I have to go into New Game +2 because in his first playthrough he didn't kill the maiden, so he didn't get her souls, so he needs 2 of those for sorceries. I need 2 of them, so I'm going into New Game +2, and then I'm going to go into New Game +3 with him to try and help him. But the New Game +3 won't be too hard because we just need to unlock the phalanx and then run the table to get the archdemon. Because Matt, can you beat the because he just needs to unlock Uria and Frake. So we basically might as well just run the table on the tower and get the archdemon there to unlock Uria and Frake, and then he should just be able to go back and be good to go. Because you need an archdemon to unlock 1-3 as well. Like he doesn't need to beat the game; he just needs those 2 available in the Nexus to be able to like talk to him by the sorceries. That's the only trophy I have left because I did. Oh no, I have rings too. Sorry, I thought I would polish off sorceries, but then I realized I need another maiden soul, and I'm like, well, let's roll back that save and keep going. But I have 2 rings that I need for the ring. I need the foes ring and the ring of devout prayer. The foes ring I haven't done yet because I haven't had a chance to farm the monk in world in the Tower of Latria, because you can basically just put your sign down and be summoned into the boss fight. Because I don't think it counts. Because like you wait in the boss room, and I had one guy die right outside. Like I watched, he was trying to kill Squidmire outside, and it wasn't working, and he died. And I don't think it counts if you don't kill them by your blade while they're in the boss fight. It doesn't count towards your world tendency.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm like, could you get your ass in here so I can kill you, so I can go pure black and get her up the Mephistopheles or whatever her name is.
Mephistopheles.
Thank you. I'm horrible with pronunciation.
That's okay.
If you can't tell, but you need to be pure black to get her up there, and then you have to kill Uria to get the foes ring, which I will do before I go into the next new game cycle. So I should have rings done before I have to run stuff.
Have you let Yurt out?
Who?
Yurt, he's in 3-2. Or no?
Yeah, and I murdered him.
Okay,
I let him out and I murdered him, and I had this set. Yeah, because you have to kill him.
Yeah, let him out. Let him show back. Let him show back up in the Nexus. Kill him. And then,
oh no, he didn't even show back up in the Nexus. I murdered him right there on the spot. Oh cool. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to allow him to go back because he's basically like the he's like the beggar in he's like the beggar in Bloodborne, where like you send him back to the chapel and then he just ends up killing everybody.
He starts eating people,
starts eating people. So anyway, so Demon Souls is fun, and it is a meme fest. Like seriously, it's comedy gold. But anyway, so been playing a bunch of that, and then I polished off the Astro's Playroom Platinum, which I want like a 30-40 hour game here, or maybe even like a 20-30 hour game. I want like, let's have like a big Astro's Playroom game. Like, I feel like it would be really cool. Like, they got some, like, it's just fun. Like, it's just fun, and you like catch yourself smiling and chuckling at things, and it's just like a joy to play. And I think they could do some really cool stuff with it.
If they were
And-
given like a Little Big Planet style budget, I mean, without all of the creation in Little Big Planet, of course, because I don't think that needs to be in every one of these.
Yeah.
But I think they could do something special.
Well, I think what they could do is, I think they could build like, first game, I think what they should do is they should build like a solo game, like a large game, to see how well it does, but throw in, like, they have the races at the end, which is like
Mhm.
your system performance check or whatever, your CPU performance. And you basically just race against the clock, which that's a lot of fun to
Mhm.
play. So I feel like they could throw that in as the multiplayer if you wanted to, like, actually make races where there's 2 people on the track and stuff, and like that could be
Mhm.
cool. And then like the next game after that, where they figure out that people really like the IP, they could do like a co-op one as well, you know, kind of like Spider-Man, where Spider-Man was single player at first, and well, supposedly going to be co-op in the next one, but there's 2 Spider-Mans, so come on, you know, do the math. So anyways, played that, platinum that, and I did the race one. You have to beat the races in under 7 minutes. That's part of like the 3 trophies that came with the add-on. So I 100%ed it. That was the last trophy I needed. And then I played, I went onto the Switch and fired up Breath of the Wild to get the motorcycle. And I ran through the DLC to get the motorcycle. So I have the motorcycle now. Basically, they set it up where like I actually beat the shrine, and then the weapon that you use, because it's basically like this weapon that you one hit enemy, or you instantly kill enemies, but then they also instantly kill you. So you have like a quarter of a heart. And so like I beat the shrine to get out of it, and then it sent the pieces, it broke it up into 4 pieces and sent it all over, you know, Hyrule. And then you have to go find the spot where they went, and then it'll show you like 3 places on the map you have to go, and you have to beat shrines. And then you finally go to the divine beasts of that section, and you have to beat a illusionary world version of the Ganon for each divine beast. But you don't get your own gear. Like it limits you. Like you only have certain gear for each of the versions of Ganon that you have to fight. But I'm gonna be honest, it's not really that hard, especially if you have all the hearts like I did. I'm only missing 2, and then you can use like the food that increases your heart, gives you 2 yellow hearts, so you have the maximum amount of hearts. And then you also have the ability from, I believe it is the Elephant Guardian, where if you get hit and killed, your health is automatically filled to max. And so like it kind of like I never had to have that happen, but it just makes like the fight like non-existent. But when they give you 10 arrows, you really have to get creative with figuring out what the heck you're supposed to do with the Guardians. But the motorcycle's cool. I'm having a blast with that, riding around. So played that, and then, man, dude, I played a lot. See, I just remember something right now. I played the Animal Crossing
Who the
DLC.
fuck are you?
I don't know, man. I have no idea who I am. Like, seriously, I don't. So Kelly's birthday is Friday, so her sister wanted to celebrate it Sunday with the family. So we went up Sunday, and I knew my niece and nephew were going to be there, and I wanted to show my niece the Animal Crossing DLC. And so I had downloaded it. Luckily, I looked Saturday night because I had no room for it. So I had to go and like, guess what I had to delete? NBA 2K1, which was like 44 gigabytes. And I was like, I played this for like 10 seconds. Bye. So got rid of that, downloaded it. It's pretty cool. I like it. So like, I basically you have like a boat that takes you to an island, and you can go check out the island and stuff. And it's mainly like the flights where you go to the islands and get all your resources. But now you can find Brewster, who will run a cafe at the museum for you. And then I also went to the resort island, and I have to send y'all the picture of the second room that was decorated. But I decorated one. You basically go and you don't get to pick who you build like their dream vacation house for. Like you just go talk to the main person, and she says, "Oh, we have a client, so here you go." And then you talk to the client, and the client tells you what they want. And then I think there was like, I don't know if it gets progressively like more and more items that you have to put in the room, but like it starts with 3. So like the first one, she just wanted like kind of like a library. So she wanted like a bookshelf, she wanted a stack of books, and like a rocking chair. And so like I put a couch next to the window, I put a plant in there for her, put a fan in there and stuff like that. And she loved it. And then I let my niece design one, and it was for this person she had to do a studio for. And I thought it was kind of like a YouTube person, but it's like a recording artist. So like music. And so she was putting everything together. And I like, she showed it to me, and I looked at the room, and I was like, you know what that could use? And she's like, I'm thinking of putting a rug in there. And I was like, exactly. I was like, I think it'll really tie the room together. And I sat there, I was like, she's too young to get that joke. Or a reference for that matter. But it did. She
Fucking
put a,
Moose Lebowski over here.
she put a record, like it's a rug that looks like a record in the center of the room. And it actually did tie the room together real nicely. So but anyways, played a bunch of that, and I haven't really done much. Oh, and you can expand your storage at your house for like stuff you want to put in your house. So I expanded it twice. You could do it 3 times, and the last great upgrade is like 1.2 million bells. And I'm like, I'm not going to play this long enough to have enough stuff to put in this house to pay that. So I'd rather just keep buying music when I, occasionally log on, and like items that I really want. So that's pretty cool. So played that. I recently, I had access to it on Steam, but I bought it on the PS5 Skull. So I played some Skull, enjoying that. Highly recommend that. And then the last thing I've been playing, I played all of today, which is Ghost Recon Breakpoint, because I'm trying to beat that for the end of the year, because the DLC just came out Tuesday, which completely changes the game, the way the game's played. So I'm looking forward to trying the new DLC. But other than that, nothing else. Damn, that's a lot.
You sure that's it?
Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
Give him a minute.
Before Jason goes, I'm just going to be anticlimactic. I didn't play anything new. I'm playing more Kena.
That's why it was a balance of the force. Moose sucked all the gaming out of everyone, and he just
like I fucking had to be an adult last week, and it was just a lot. So
you had responsibilities.
Yeah, it's just trying to be an adult sucks. Jason, what have you been playing? Kena's still good, by the way. I've started master mode.
I was gonna say, is that what you started?
I've started master mode, and I'm at corrupted Taro, and I think I got there faster in master mode than I did going through it the first time. But go ahead, Jay.
I started Guardians of the Galaxy. It's cool. It's I don't want to say different. It's very story heavy, because it is a single player game. I think after playing Avengers, I don't care that it's not the voices I'm used to. Like, I think it was more jarring going into Avengers, even though Nolan North and Troy Baker are voices I'm accustomed to on a regular now in video games.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians not having Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, like, it wasn't, because they kept the way they talk. Like early on, like there was a branching path, and I went one way, and Rocket's like, oh, hold on, Peter's picking up some trash now, wasting our time. And it's like, what? Like he's
I'm just
Wait,
walking down a
wait.
path over here.
Are the NPCs shit talking you for going on your ooh shiny crusade?
yeah.
Like it. I like it.
That's
I like it.
perfect.
I'm getting shamed for exploring. Like I'm getting explore shamed.
Uh,
Shamed.
That's fun.
Sorry, Star-Lord, we can't go any farther. Spider-Man's off on an expedition, apparently. He's
I've been
doing some
playing-
Assassin's Creed bullshit off to the west.
And the combat feels good. Peter's not anything fun, but it's controlling your teammates. You have a radio menu, and as their abilities come off cooldown, you can select them. Like you can have Groot ground everything at once and then switch to Rocket on the menu, and he'll throw a cluster bomb at all the enemies that got stuck in the ground. So it's like, it's cool how they're on cooldown and you kind of select them as you go. I've been playing a lot of Inscription on Steam. This is a deck builder.
This is one of my I need to resist this.
This is
I really
this is a fuck you, Jason. I'm sorry, man.
yeah. No, I
This is a targeted fuck you, Jason.
yeah, it's very hard to resist. Like between the
So-
new Binding of Isaac expansion coming out and this, I'm just like, fuck.
So this is similar to Slay the Spire, but there's a story around the game. So not just you playing.
So is
the
it
deck.
a roguelike as well as a deck builder, or
Yes, but you don't really. It's more rogue. Other than the deck is built, but like you don't gain, like if you make it like to the 5th stop and like lose, you just start over. It's not like you still have the random nature of, I mean, you collect cards, but not through the gameplay. So I mean, I guess it's a rogue light because it's light in the rogue elements. But it's interesting because as you play, you unlock more of the story that's going on. You're playing the game, so there's a story going on as you play this game. Because the cards are basic. It's just like you play a card, you have health and attack, and you kind of have to just defeat the opponent. It's one opponent. I don't want to like. There's stuff gets going, stuff kind of escalates quickly story wise, and it's like, oh, all right. But if you like deck builders with kind of a interesting twist, definitely check this out. It's different. It's not, yeah. It's hot. When we do game of the year, I'll have a better description to work with. I think it's hard to describe it without ruin. I need to know the whole thing before I can like say like, oh, it's this and this, and then it's like, damn it, that's a spoiler.
Mhm.
Just think of it's a deck building card game that could potentially have spoilers to get you intrigued. There's more than just the card game.
Well, it looks like when I look it up, because it looks like the elevator pitches it's a horror deck building roguelike.
Yes, there's a horror aspect to the basic premise. You're kind of like a prisoner maybe, and you have to play this card game, and you don't know how you got there.
So it's like The Witcher, but only Gwent.
Yeah, but it's darker. It's much darker. Like as you take turns, when you attack, if you deal damage, there's a scale on the table and teeth get dropped into it. And whoever tips the scale in the right, yeah. So,
Teeth?
but they're not your
Teeth?
teeth.
What?
they can-
That's just more
How do you
gross
know?
then.
They're not your teeth, but they can be, because if there's an item, the pliers, that you can pull a tooth out to kind of give yourself a bonus.
I don't think that's a bonus.
You're in
Bonus is
prison.
the wrong
Anything
word.
you get out of it is a bonus. I'd be
Pulling out your
yanking
own
out teeth
tooth
if I
with
need to.
pliers is never a
Alright.
bonus.
The basic
A
the
trade-off.
cards work. You've all seen cards, and they have all the numbers in these the deck builders. To play a card, you need to sacrifice cards. Some cards though require blood, some require bones. By pulling out a tooth, you can kind of, instead of waiting a turn, you can fast forward and basically add that to the bone pile to play another card.
What
Okay.
happens when you run out of fucking teeth?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't run out of teeth yet. I've only had to pull 2 in one game.
Only had to pull 2 teeth.
When you do pull a tooth, everything gets like hazy and all bloody, and just it's if you you know what, I already got Matt on board and he has to resist it, so I'm good.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna play this game. I just don't know when.
And the last game I played, I decided to never do it. I bought Call of Duty on launch. I got to level 23 in multiplayer, and I beat the campaign just before the show.
Did you watch the credits?
I did watch.
Wait, did it launch Tuesday? It launched Tuesday? Last week?
Thursday.
Jesus, okay.
What
Campaign
game
short.
launches on a Thursday?
Call of Duty.
Weird games now.
Well, technically Friday. I think if you pre-order, you got to play Thursday night. But campaign short. It felt shorter than other games. The structure was a little different, and I really enjoy the older war settings. I don't like the future crap. Wall running, drones, and no. I like the older.
Jason's the type of first person shooter that bitches when people jump.
Yeah. Yes. The story kind of took a Inglourious Bastards type thing. You're this elite unit, and then it kind of backtracked to give the backstory. And you were in the Nazi killing business.
And
Nice.
cousin, business is a booming.
The one that I keep hearing people highlight the most is the Russian sniper.
Yeah, it's voiced by Laura Bailey too.
Yeah, I remember her doing the interview before the game came out.
She's a badass. I haven't unlocked her in the multiplayer yet. You have to unlock the operators. But I had a blast. I did watch the credits. There is a trophy after. It's funny. My controller, I walked away. I went to walk the dog because it's 18 minutes of credits. You just have to let it play out. The devs deserve some recognition. I mean, there's a lot of developers on a game like this. The controller timed out because my controller set for 10 minutes. So it paused the game. And the credits didn't finish yet. I had to turn the controller back on.
God,
Because I was gone.
that's
like,
crazy.
I went for like a 25-minute walk with the dog, and I'm like, I came back. I'm like, oh, it'll be done when I get back. It's fucking paused. I'm like, when did it pause? And then I realized it paused at 10 minutes. I'm like, well, I got almost 10 minutes left.
Oh,
Well, now I can go
That's
get another
brutal.
drink.
It was like, well, now I can just start dinner too. No, I enjoyed it. And I think Call of Duty does a decent job. I mean, the campaign's varying length, but I think they kind of, there's no real frills. They kind of they nail it with the campaign. It's short and sweet. It always looks good. I mean, whenever they release a game, and the cutscenes were really, really cool with the different characters. Gameplay was fun. I mean, if you've played a Call of Duty, any of the older ones, World at War, plays like that. Each of your members had like a special ability. Like the sniper, there was more obstacles and she would climb stuff. One guy had like this time limited focus where you can highlight enemies. Nothing like superpowers, like all of a sudden jetpack engage. But
Yeah.
like there was the Battle of Midway is one of the missions, and you're a fighter pilot and you have to do dive bomb runs, which is so cool. Like like it's going to hell in this dogfight, and it's just like you're dodging. You have to like, and the first time I did it, I actually crashed. It said pull up now, pull up, and it was like, nope. We all know how I work with flying.
It's like trying to land in the old Top Gun game on Nintendo.
Well,
I forget what it was. I think you, me, and Jeff were playing Wildlands, and I was in a plane with you, and I was so convinced we were gonna crash, and I like left. I was like, I'm out of here. I am not dying in this plane. He was able to right the plane, and he took off. And like,
I remember one of the Far Cry games I was playing with Ahmed, and he was driving the plane, and he was taking us in for a landing, and somehow hit something, and it did a barrel roll, and I'm like, oh great, this is going to explode. But then the plane just lands on its wheels, and we hop out.
Nice.
It was like that one time, or wait, I don't know if I was in a party with you where I got into a car with somebody and they drove around the map. This isn't the motorcycle incident, but they drove around the map and swerved, and everybody that was in the back died because they ended on the edge of like a lava pit or whatever, and they got out right at the last possible second, and all three other people died. I'm like, oh, that sucked.
I did during the flying missions. I thought of Michaela because when you first start, a tooltip pops up because you could change the inverted aim at any point by the pause menu. I'm like, who the fuck needs this information? This is useless.
Oh, Michaela does.
Excuse me, my system settings auto invert. Thank you.
But yeah, no, and I'm really enjoying the multiplayer. I haven't tried the zombies yet. There's some trophy to kill 10,000 Nazi zombies. Like, I'm cool with that.
You can get it.
Yeah.
I've heard that some of the maps are callbacks, like old school, like World at War maps that they've completely remade from the ground up.
It launched with like 20 maps, which I think is the most it's ever launched with. And there's different modes. They had this it's like a capture the flag, but the point moves. So you can secure the point. If you lose it, it respawns elsewhere. So whoever holds the point as it moves the longest, whichever team manages to hold like overall over the course of the map wins. So it's cool how it like you can't just camp because it's going to move and you could be totally away from the action.
I like that.
But yeah, so yeah, that's it for that. There was
Very nice.
There's some news. Few things this week. Things happened.
People are very angry about Elden Ring.
Yeah. But before that, Blizzard delayed 2 games that didn't have release dates because that's what we're doing now.
Can that be a delay?
No. You can't
If
delay
a
something.
tree falls in the forest, is it a game delay?
Yes.
No. I agree. That's weird. Like, there was no release date, no window. There's no release window, and you're gonna be like, we're delaying the game. Okay. Like,
Overwatch-
just keep developing
Just keep it to yourself.
Overwatch
Right.
2
So wait,
and Diablo
so-
4 are the games I'm referring to.
Did they just announce that they're going to be further out? Like, I mean, is that
Yeah.
really what
Okay.
it is?
On a side note, Diablo 4 was said to be coming this year. So
originally
that
and then-
was the window. So,
Okay.
and everybody thought Overwatch 2 was this year as well.
But they never said that.
They never.
Right.
said
No,
that.
no. I'm not yet. Right. So I think to their defense, because they showed stuff and everything was looking like complete, that's probably why they said it. But like, if you've got a game that you're developing
well,
and you've never
yeah.
released a window, like,
They canceled BlizzCon for February, and
Surprise,
BlizzCon's
surprise.
there, E3, Gamescom, all wrapped in one. So without something like that, they're not the type to just, here's a trailer. They want an event. So I guess with that cancellation, it makes it easier. Plus, I got some stuff going on.
a lawsuit,
Yeah.
maybe.
But I did read today during the investor meeting, their subscriber count for Warcraft remains stable throughout this. So, I mean,
That's
Well, you
good.
gotta remember there's gamers and gamers on social media. There's people who play video games, and then there's the subpopulation of people who play video games and engage in the social media, and that population is smaller than like the wide world of
definitely.
parents and
as
kids
someone
and
who-
everyone. who
Yes,
plays
as someone
games.
who's currently playing Warcraft, people in my guild are playing. They didn't stop. They're playing a game they like. That's it. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else. We mentioned Elden Ring. They did something.
Announced collector's editions, and all of them disappeared.
Yeah, they broke the
Okay,
internet.
can we focus on the positive, the gameplay reveal? Can we talk about
It's
that?
nice.
instead of this
No,
CC
collector's editions
bullshit?
are more important.
Yeah.
I
The
hate
gameplay
David
reveal.
Twitch.
Intangibles don't matter. It's things, Michaela.
What was
Things.
that? Was that like last Tuesday or something? What day was that?
Yeah, I was in the middle of last week.
Yeah, and like 9 o'clock in the morning, like or 10 o'clock in the morning, I was in a meeting and someone sent a link. So I'm sitting there watching.
Well, you know what? It's
gameplay
not all
reveal.
about you.
I know it's not all about me. I'm just saying, like, it was weird. Like, there was no like announcement of like, here's our gameplay. It was just boom. Like the link
Mhm.
was just sent out, and or it was on their website, and so it looked good. I'm
Looks
definitely
very
going to
good.
enjoy it.
The
Yes.
gameplay looks dope. And I
Yes.
think it looks beautiful. I like the high fantasy aesthetic, something that all of FromSoft's recent games, so going back to Demon Souls, I would say onwards, have had a certain color palette. Sekiro did brighten things up a little bit. This game, like, isn't afraid to just be like, all right, we turned the vibrancy up. Here is what blue looks like. And it's
Like
like,
it looks like
Yeah.
like how I remember Oblivion looking. Like where it was just kind of there's like a certain technicolorness to it. And
the
I
magic looks really bright and vibrant and cool, and the environments, like, there's a stylized, like, when you look at the horizon in this game, it's all open world, like you can go there and you can get it, but they almost did something that's
Yeah.
stylized where it looks more fantasy and less like in your face. We're trying to be super real, which a lot of
Mhm.
games go for nowadays, and I appreciate it. It looks very
Yeah.
cool.
And the technical test runs November 12th to 15th. So we'll see people's reaction to that, how that goes.
Mhm.
Uh,
Just to speak on the collector's edition just for a little bit, it's cool. It's got a statue, got a nice art book. I was like, I don't need a statue, so I let it slide, and obviously it sold out. In fact, I think the last time, Matt, you and I talked, like getting towards the weekend, and the PlayStation 4 version is still available because I told him, I was like, well, you could just buy that and play the digital PS5 version that I'll buy.
Right. I was
And
thinking
so-
about that, but then I'm like, that's 189. I have to.
My whole issue is like I hate the things like that are region locked. Like Jason, remember when you were looking at A Link to the Past and they had like the cool steel box like
Bullshit.
European version? They had this
Planet
really cool
bullshit.
version. Yeah, they had this really cool version where it's like they took the statue out, so you get the book, the soundtrack, you get a couple of stickers, and you get a patch. And I'm like, that I would have liked because I could put the stickers somewhere. I'd still like to thumb through the physical art book, and the soundtrack. Like, actually, I don't even know if I have nowhere to play a CD except my wife's record player / CD player tape player. Wow, that's crazy. Like I'm dead serious. Like my car doesn't
Does
have a
your-
CD player. My
Oh,
laptop
wow.
doesn't. Like, oh, I could play it on the PS5. So, but anyways, it's that I just realized that's freaking crazy. But anyways, so like that was something I could get. I would like get, but it's only available in certain regions, and America is not one of them. So, and I ain't
Yeah.
paying to import that.
Yeah, that'll be like $40 extra.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's still looking good. Like the gameplay looked really awesome. They released classes, name of the classes, I think yesterday or maybe Friday. They've been talking about them. So the Knight looks like it's going to be like the only like true to like Dark Souls returning class. The other ones look pretty cool, and the magic looks cool in the game. I think like being able to summon someone to like fight a little bit, but it's not technically like a summon is pretty cool. Like the quote unquote magic summons are gonna be awesome. So I might actually play a magic build off the bat instead of a knight build first. So
The gameplay almost makes it seem like you might not need to have like a magic build. It might be like magic is more universally incorporated into any
Yeah.
play style. That's kind of the
Right,
feel
yeah.
I got just from watching. We won't know until people actually start playing it, but it felt like you're not going to be blocked out of using magic if you go for a melee build. It looks like
yeah, that's
it's
true.
designed for you to use a little bit more of everything. So the RPG elements themselves and how you build might be different in this than in other Souls games.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows?
agree.
It could just be
I don't-
gameplay impressions. I don't know.
I don't know when they announced the people that are getting into the test, but I
Tomorrow.
obviously did not. Oh, they're announcing tomorrow?
Mhm.
Cool.
Yes. Tuesday. So when you hear this,
It's like-
the test will be going live.
So yeah, because like they have a Discord now for Elden Ring, and I was looking at it the other day, and there's already like 4,000 people that have checked that they're going to be in the closed network, and I'm like, how do you even know yet? You know what I mean? Because I haven't seen any announcements of when they're going to announce it. And then I thought the other funny thing is it's 6-2 PlayStation platform versus Xbox platform, which is pretty interesting. But
Skyrim's got a big anniversary this week, and they announced the cost of the anniversary edition. If you own the special edition, it will be $20. The next gen upgrade is free. The anniversary edition does include all Creators Club content, all bundled. You don't have to purchase any, because they used to have these like this currency within where you could purchase certain mods. This will include everything. If you
Yeah.
don't own it, it is $50.
I think the upgrade, the free upgrade, gets you some mods.
Yeah,
I don't know which ones it
I
are.
think you could still access the mods, but you don't have all of them.
Yeah, no, you
purchasing-
can. But I mean,
Yeah.
it gives it to you for free.
Right,
Like
right.
you
Oh,
don't have to
okay.
buy them. Like you get some of the mods.
Okay.
You don't not access, but you get the mods with the update. But the one that I'm most interested in is the one where it adds like the cold factor. We have to worry about eating and freezing and all. I can't remember what the name of that mod was, but they added it, and I just was too far removed from Skyrim to even try it. So
Trophy Hunters, it is a new trophy set for PS5. So, Take-Two canceled the next Hangar 13 project. They're the devs behind Mafia, I believe.
3.
It was supposed to be
Mafia
Cthulhu meets Saints Row, was what it was described as. But what's interesting is they put $53 million into it so far, and they canceled it. But they announced that their investors, meaning that nobody got laid off as a result of this. They're just on to different projects.
Well, that's a plus because I was just gonna say we
I
can
wish I had
expect the chop
$53
and
million
change.
dollars to just throw in a
Yeah.
hole and be like, whatever.
Well, they do have Grand Theft Auto 6 online, or 5 online. So
And speaking of Grand
making
Theft
that money.
Auto, 5 just broke 155 million units sold. It's absurd. And Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
Trilogy comes out in a few days. And I
Mhm.
think I mentioned last week, if you are getting the physical Switch version, it's a physical only for 3, and it's a download code for the others. So just if that matters. Marvel's Avengers, they ended their paid consumables. They said they weren't going to do paid consumables that would affect gameplay. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. They did it. And then they announced on Twitter, we are ending it as of today. This was on November 2nd. If you did purchase any, you get to keep them, but the community was upset. I mean,
It's almost like this game can't help but do wrong. They can do no right. They
Right.
just
I mean,
they just get in their own way.
I'm of the thinking, okay, put XP boosters in. I'm not buying them. Don't affect me. Like, I don't.
I know, but I don't like that those are even I
No,
don't like
no.
that as a business practice
I
because
think it's
people
worse.
will buy them
I think it's worse that they said they wouldn't.
and then they
There
did.
was
Ubisoft
blogs.
is usually the one that tends to do that a lot. Oh, we
Like-
won't do that.
Yeah.
And they do. Yeah.
This seems like a bad idea.
We
And then
won't.
someone
We
in the back's
totally
like, that's
won't.
exactly what we're doing.
We won't.
No.
I promise. We won't do that.
Yeah. It was interesting because it just came out on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So it was just, but on the flip, November 30th is the release date now for Spider-Man to come to the Avengers game. So
For
something to check
PlayStation
out.
platforms
Yes,
only.
PlayStation only platforms. And it's funny because, of course, the internet, and they're like, but there's Xbox buttons on the screen. And then they had to clarify, well, that's a dev kit, and we test on PC, so that's why there's Xbox buttons. This is Spider-Man on PS4 and 5 only. Yeah, I mean, we got a decent amount of news for the end of the year. I mean, it's winding down. We got some games still releasing, games that are reviewing well recently.
Mhm.
Forza's hitting it out of the park. I'm
Mhm.
sure Halo will as well. Halo will either crush it or complete. It's not going to be a middle ground because
Based
if it
on
doesn't
the
crush it, people are
reaction-
just going to be. Well, people love the multiplayer. The test went
Went
people.
phenomenally.
Yeah, but people are worried because the last Halo campaign wasn't the best, and if it continues that,
I think so long as it's not the worst, they'll be fine because
true,
it's Halo.
true. And then
Yeah.
that SMT game comes out.
SMT, it's reviewing very well, except that one outlet. I don't know if you've heard of them. I think it's a bunch of letters. IGN said it's like Persona without the heart. Then gave it a 9 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I
they
hate
gave it
them.
a 9 out of 10. That's what they said. And then they gave it a 9 out of 10. Get the fuck
I think
outta
the
here,
lowest
IGN.
score I've seen for it is like 8 out of 10. Basically, it's like, remember that this came before Persona,
Yeah.
Yes.
but also it's people are raving about like the gameplay and it's fun, and that's really all I give a shit. So lots of good
And,
games. COD did good. Forza's doing good. SMT looks good.
we have to have, I think this is a new segment, Nintendo being Nintendo. They did announce some of their Black Friday sales, and the interesting one is their Switch bundle, which bundles not a new game, but Mario Kart 8. So, and but not surprising because Mario Kart 8 is now the best-selling.
I think it's always been the best selling.
Oh no, it just eclipsed because this is technically a remake, remaster, or
Yeah, it is.
Release?
It was the
Mario Kart
Wii
8
U
nuts.
edition.
it just passed its original.
Yeah, but I meant like it's okay, so it's now better selling than it was on the Wii U or whatever.
Yes,
But she means best selling on
It's
Switch.
been the best selling
it's
Switch
been
game.
the
Yeah,
best selling.
it
forever.
has. Yeah,
I mean,
which is weird.
It's just interesting that that's the bundle. That I mean, I get it. I mean, it is worth it. I mean, Mario Kart is fun. I mean,
No,
I don't have it, but I think, did I buy it? I keep forgetting which games I bought for my friends and which ones I didn't. I think I might have bought that for my friends. And like as a present, I gave it to someone. So I purchased a copy of the game. I just don't own a copy of the game.
I feel I've got complaints about Mario Kart, but whatever. We ain't got time for that.
Yeah, but I think I think the complaints you have been the complaints for Mario Kart as a franchise.
No, it's not. It's just this one. I feel like the item randomizer is trash. Like, why do I need?
Yeah, but it's been
coins?
trash. It's been trash for generations.
No, it hasn't. Like Mario 64 is really good.
which
Like if I was
behind,
if I was behind, I would get stuff to try and help me get to the front of the pack. If I was in the front of the pack, I would get stuff to help me defend myself. Like
Right.
I'm freaking driving around in first place, and it's like, can I get a shell or a banana peel to stick out the back of the car so I can protect against like red shells or something like that? No, we're gonna give you coins.
Well, okay.
Fuck do I need coins for?
So they added that because that wasn't always present. Coins weren't always
right.
present,
No,
were
it
they?
wasn't. But it's not just the addition of that. Like you just get like all this. There's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of items I rarely ever see when I play.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest, I do play against my niece and nephew, and I'm usually in first place. Although my nephew is getting really good, and it scares me, but that's good. Gotta stay on your toes, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing fuels the mind like necessity.
So it's just like it's just like I don't know. I just feel like the algorithm could be a lot better than what it is. I feel it's trash. So I'm actually looking forward to trying Mario Kart 64 on the
I did try some 64 games. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And I don't get maybe because I grew up with the 64, the complaints that the controls are weird. Controllers today have more buttons than the 64 did, so I don't see the.
I think it's the placement of the buttons.
I think
it's not like I think because they're like, why would you do this? And then the other thing is like, why can't I remap them? Like it's almost 2022.
I think
why can't I remap buttons?
I think if you had the 64 controller that they sold, which you can't buy till 2022, you would get the button scheme better because it makes more sense on that weird ass controller versus what we're used to. I mean, yes, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all different controllers, but it's still the same 4 buttons here, 2 sets of triggers. It's all.
Nintendo tends to be a little fucky though, like with the 64 and the GameCube and the Wiimote. So all the time, they tend to be a little funky.
Well, no, that was my point. Like, but since from Nintendo 64,
was the GameCube controller bad? I always liked that one.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just the button placement is very different than what is considered standard on pretty much every other platform.
Oh, sure. Well, I think either that generation or just after it was where everything kind of got solidified. Like, this is how video games are supposed to kind of work across
Well, yeah, they
PlayStation and Xbox kind of had the same controller, just in different molds. Nintendo was
Yeah.
like, here's a nunchuck.
yeah. Yeah.
Which the nunchuck is basically an evolution of the N64 controller, because I think that's how you were supposed to hold it. You're supposed to hold it by the middle one
Yeah.
and use your thumb on the joystick.
I think what's
I learned that lesson way too late.
Wolfden did a video on actually changing out the analog stick on the new N64 controller because he's like, this no. So he's like, he did a video saying like I fixed it. And I was like, okay, I have to watch that and see how entertaining that is.
I'm still like 8-bit dude, where you at? Make one of these.
Would be nice. Fuck that. I want a PlayStation 5
Yeah, but the
Pro
only issue with
controller
an
from them.
8-bit do 64 controller, it's only a 60. Like, could you imagine using an N64 style controller to play like any other game?
Oh, come on. People do weirder shit than that. People beat Dark Souls with bananas. Like,
Yeah, I
come
was
on.
gonna say, like,
Morse code.
Someone did it with Morse code. Did you see that?
yeah.
Yep.
Didn't someone
The
do it
same
with the
button.
Donkey
People
Kong
beat that
bongo
game with their
drums?
fucking toes, man.
They do.
It's weird
they do.
shit.
People are out of their goddamn minds.
I don't got time for this.
It only happens. I was like, yeah, I've been struggling with this one boss. Guy beats Dark Souls with bananas. Fuck.
Right. Right. Like you're like, goddamn nameless king. Just whooping my ass left and right. Oh, I beat him with bongos from the N64
Donkey Kong
or whatever.
Country.
yeah, exactly.
The strangest thing is,
Okay,
it's
I'll
not
go
like
beat my head against the wall now.
it's not like, oh, I used a different controller. It's like they fucking figure out how to wire a banana or a bongos into a controller.
I was frustrated with a game, so I became an electrician and a hardware engineer and redid everything.
I went back to college and got a computer science degree just so I could do this.
Right. I think
200 grand well spent.
I mean,
the cooler ones is the Dance Dance Revolution pads. Those are cool.
I mean, in person, the strangest control scheme I've ever seen. Growing up, I knew a guy who played arcade games. He would cross his right hand, would use the joystick, and he would push the buttons with his left. So he literally his hands were crossed on the arcade. And I thought that was the most bizarre, because he had better control of, like, it was fighting games, and he was right-handed.
Yeah.
So he had better control with the right stick. But I always thought that was the strangest thing. And then now we have Dance Dance Revolution controllers for a fight.
I've seen people do that before, though, because they're right-handed, and the Joy-Con was like, obviously had no problem with it because I'm left-handed. But yeah, I have seen people like swap their hands to be able to control the joystick, and just because you're just hitting the buttons with your left hand. But
Moose, you've probably seen him, but the most impressive like control scheme I've ever seen is this guy named Holt. He's been around like me.
Yes.
So I met
Holt's
Holt
awesome.
Holt is awesome. I met Holt through Twitch. He is a big Soulsborne fan, and he was born with only one complete hand. He has his left hand, and then his right hand is like just like this, basically.
Just like a nub. Yeah.
And he'll play Soulsborne games and even Neo, and he has this like left-handed mouse that's got like 27 buttons on it, and he'll have like a foot pad going too, and then like he can press certain keys with like part of his hand that he's got on the right. It's fucking nuts. And he has like YouTube videos that has a camera showing like what he's doing while he's playing.
Because I don't think he's not on camera. He just has his actual like hand, like his like how he's playing it on camera.
He points the camera at like whatever he's doing with his hands, or like he'll use a foot pad too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
People are impressive. I'm like, I just beat Metroid Dread conventionally with a controller and full motor skills, and it took me like 30 minutes to beat the final boss. Fuck.
Yeah, I think I've seen him playing Demon Souls recently. I think because he has a problem with like the software that he uses, trying to get it to work with the PlayStation 5. But
this is what I talk about with accessibility. you need to be able to remap fucking buttons, or else people can't play the
Yeah.
games. Because not
Yeah, you
everybody
do.
was born with 10 fingers and 10 toes, so far off.
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
There was a guy in the Phoenix Overdrive community for, I don't know if he still is, but he was for a while. His
No.
PSN name was Nub, and he was like a
Yeah.
high level Madden player with only one
Dude.
hand.
That guy was freaking legit, man.
And whenever he showed up in Rocket League, like we were so happy to watch him and Gideon go at it, because
Yeah.
Gideon's like,
Yeah.
"How are you doing that?" He's like, "I got one hand."
Right.
It was great.
It was good.
The last piece of news, and since we're talking about Souls, a new alpha trailer came out for Lies of P, the Pinocchio-themed Soulsborne game.
Sounds so weird still, even though you know what it is.
Sounds like a
Mhm.
bad Rentals
Mhm.
album.
But
Mhm.
if Soulsborne...
Wait. Before we talk about the actual news, I have to ask a quick poll. What name is worse? Lies of P or Triangle Strategy? What's worse?
Oh, Lies of P, definitely.
Lies of P.
Lies of
No,
P, definitely.
triangle strategy.
Lies
Because
Oh,
of
Lies
pretty
of P
fucking bad.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Lies
but
of
it
P
sounds
makes
like a
sense.
P joke.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, but it
if
makes
you've
sense.
never triangle strategy kind of sounds like an abstract concept.
I mean, it
Triangle
could.
Strategy sounds like a fake game that like they talk about like in a movie or a TV show. Oh, they're playing Triangle Strategy.
Or like some Star Trek The Next Generation stuff. Like what
Yeah,
was
you
that
can put it
game
this way.
that what was that game that Data played? Was it Stratagema or whatever? It's like,
All right, Jason, I interrupted you
It's
with
fine.
childish shit.
But that was it for the news, and if none of that interests you, guess what?
Dear gamers, it's not all about you.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXODmerch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter at StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.